What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I'm going to be talking some WrestleKingdom 14 today, and this is not a hardcore New Japan Pro Wrestling review. So if you're a hardcore fan, you might not enjoy this one bit, but if you're not and you want to just learn a little bit about what happened and what some of the characters are and how I thought about the show, stay tuned. So it started off with a couple of tag team matches. Most of these matches were really meaningless. New Japan does this a lot, but at the same time, they were probably on here because it was 2 nights of a WrestleKingdom to try to get more guys on the show, kind of like WrestleMania, how they do it with those battle royals and those multi-man matches. New Japan tries to stay away from multi-man championship matches, and that's why I think there were more. Actually, I'm not even gonna say there were more tag team matches than usual. New Japan just starts off their shows like this. They start off with multi-men tag team matches, and that's how it started out. The only one that really kind of mattered, the multi-men tag match, was the Jushin Thunder Ligers retirement match. Now, this wasn't really his retirement match per se. Like, this is not going to be his last match, night 1 of WrestleKingdom 14. This was one of his, I think he was going to have 2 more after this, one on night 2 and another one on New Year's Dash. I'm not sure about New Year's Dash. I haven't watched it or haven't seen it or haven't heard anything about it as of this recording. But yeah, he came out night 1, had a 4-on-4 tag team match with a couple of legends that the commentator said that these are some of his past opponents and partners and rivals. So it was just a couple of old guys, but even if they were old guys, these guys still know how to wrestle and how to put on a show. They weren't botching all over the place like you would see like Undertaker versus Goldberg do. No, these guys were fine. They were in their element. They knew what to do and what not to do. So they kept it safe in there. Taguchi got the pinfall over Jushin Thunder Liger to a poor reception from the crowd, but it is what it is. Thunder Liger is probably one of the old school guys that are like, well, he is one of the old school guys if you see how old the guys that were in the ring were. But anyways, he's like, I'm gonna put a guy over, and Taguchi is still wrestling right now for New Japan. He's still part of their storylines and stuff like that. So yeah, Taguchi got the pinfall over Thunder Liger. They end off the match, or the aftermath of the match. They bow to him, they shake his hand, they all raise their hand, and that's gonna be it for that match. And he has another match on night 2, but I'll get to why I didn't watch the first half of night 2. But I don't know what. I think Thunder Liger teamed with Takahashi and took on Ryu Lee, and he took on Ryu Lee and Takahashi teamed up with somebody else. I'm not sure. Maybe Tiger Mask was in there somewhere. But yeah, I'll get into why I didn't watch night 2. A little bit of the good, a little bit of the bad. But yeah, good stuff for Thunder Liger. This is way better than how they sent Kurt Angle off last year with fucking Baron Corbin at WrestleMania. They do Thunder Liger better. Moving on, we're gonna skip all those tag matches that I said. We're gonna get into a tag match actually, but it was just 2-on-2 for the IWGP Tag Team Championships, the heavyweight ones. Tama Tonga and Tangaloa taking on Finn Juice Robinson, and I'm not sure what the other guy's full name is. Last name is Finley. Not sure if he's related to Fit Finley from WWE. Let me know in the comments if you do know. But yeah, they won the World Tag League, which guaranteed them a shot here at Wrestle Kingdom, and they got the pinfall victory. It was a good match. It led up to a good match. Their tag team matches are actually some of the best. Especially their tag team championship matches, kind of like NXT. Some great tag team wrestling. I have never been a tag team wrestling fan growing up as a WWE fan because they don't know how to put on good tag team matches. Not even back in the day. You can't tell me the Hardys versus Edge in a traditional 2-on-2 tag team match was ever any good. I have never seen any sort of that. Maybe 2 random teams like Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit taking on Rey Mysterio and Edge. I remember that from No Mercy 2002. That was a decent match. The Shield, Rollins and Ambrose taking on Cesaro and Sheamus. That was a decent match. But I have never seen a traditional tag team match on the main roster. I won't say that. I don't remember. Right now, I can't remember any traditional tag teams going up 2-on-2 in a championship match that actually excited me in any sort of way. But New Japan does it differently. This match was alright. It ended off with Juice Robinson and Finlay. I think they did a tag team move. I can't really remember. But I can't remember. Oh no, Juice Robinson hit his finisher, then the other guy hit his finisher, and then they got the pin, and that's how they became tag team champions. We're gonna see what comes out of this with the Bullet Club, Tama Tonga and Tanga Loa, if they're gonna get a rematch, probably. But the commentators made a thing to say that Robinson and Finlay continue the streak of winners from the World Tag League, winning the Tag League and then going on to WrestleKingdom and winning the championship. So I believe this was 3 years in a row that's happened. So a little bit of a nice history there. New Japan does a good job of keeping things prestigious, their championships and their tournaments, that is. So moving on, and Juice Robinson winning here, you were like, could he win? Because he was set up for whoever won the U.S. title later on in the night. He was gonna face them the next night for the U.S. title. So you were like, are they gonna have two people with two championships in New Japan in 2 nights? But that's gonna be saved for a little bit later. Moving on, Jon Moxley taking on Lance Archer for the IWGP US Championship. And Jon Moxley, part of AEW, taking on Archer, who has been said by a lot of podcasters and a lot of people that I've heard talk about wrestling that follow New Japan, that Archer is like one of the breakout stars. He's been on such a good, he's been having some good showings in the previous months, maybe the last year. And to be honest with you, I don't see it. I've seen maybe 1 or 2 matches before this one against Moxley from Archer. Haven't been really that impressed by him. Not saying that he's terrible. He does belong in New Japan. That's one of the best promotions if you're one of the top wrestlers. I will agree that he does belong there. He's not a scrubber by any means like that, but all the praise that he's been getting, I would have expected a little bit more. There were a couple of missed spots. I don't know if it was because Archer and Moxley just haven't worked together, don't know each other that well, that there was that miscommunication. Also, there's a death match. The death match stipulation was involved, so they're doing a couple of spots that they're obviously not used to doing every single match. So that could have played into it, but the only reason I'm bringing that up is because I've been hearing such high praise for Archer, and I just didn't see anything. And anything that would lead me to believe that he's one of the, breakout stars of the last year. But other than that, like I said, he's still all right. They pulled off a decent match. It's nothing that you would see. It's not what you saw with Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley at Full Gear. Probably because Moxley was gonna have a match the second night, so they didn't want to, go overboard. But at the end of it, Moxley gave Archer a Death Rider, which is the paradigm shift, which is the dirty deeds, from the apron to the outside onto 2 Japanese tables. The reason I say Japanese tables is because they are different. If you're not familiar with New Japan, they're skinnier and smaller than the tables that we have here in WWE and AEW and NXT. They're a little bit different. I think ROH uses those big, thick tables too, or not thick, but like traditional brown tables that WWE uses. I think ROH has them as well, but no, New Japan uses different tables. Moxley gave him the Death Rider on the outside onto 2 of those. The way you win a death match is by a 10 count or submission, I believe, and Archer got counted out, so Moxley gets to win and is the new United States champion going into night 2 to take on Juice Robinson. Moving on, we had the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Will Ospreay taking on the returning Hiromu Takahashi, and this was a fast-paced match. It was by far the best match of the night, leading up into this match, or after this match. The best match so far on the card. Will Ospreay, I haven't really seen much of him. Like I said, if you're a hardcore fan, this is probably not a review for you. This is just I followed New Japan starting WrestleKingdom 14. Or not like followed them. I've seen stuff from them, especially when Jericho came over, and I've seen some old stuff with Nakamura and AJ Styles and the Bullet Club and Prince Devitt, Finn Balor. But I have fully gotten invested into it starting last year at WrestleKingdom. 2013. I actually did a review on the channel, but it was just kind of like thrown into a random video that I did. You could probably find it. If not, I'll put it up there if you care to hear about what I thought then, and going into like all the stuff that I know now. So, but anyway, Will Ospreay, he had that tremendous match against Ibushi last year. Ended terribly for Ibushi, but it made Ospreay look great. So besides that match, I think I actually saw one match with him and Archer in the G1 Climax tournament, and that's another match that I was like, Archer, not really seeing what the big deal is about with him. So yeah, and that's actually one of the tournaments. I don't know if I just watched like the one match that didn't make people think that Archer was good, and because it was like one of the first couple of matches from the G1 Climax. But anyway, yeah, Will Ospreay, I've only seen that match over 2019, but I've heard nothing but praise for him as well. But this guy on a whole nother level, like, they're saying he's the best wrestler in the world. In terms of in-ring, he's like had some of the best matches in 2019. So I was looking forward to this match, and then the storyline with Takahashi coming back from his neck injury as well played into it. Ospreay was delivering a whole bunch of moves to his neck, but there were a couple of times where you could obviously see that he missed. Obviously in wrestling his stuff is fake, but you can noticeably see things were not hitting or connecting. I'm pretty sure they pull back when they do kicks and punches, but these were noticeably like there was space in between Ospreay and Takahashi. There was some space in between the moves. And maybe it was because Takahashi's neck that Ospreay was kind of, being a little bit on the safe side. Maybe a little bit too safe, because he, like I said, you could see some of those were missing noticeably. But anyway, into the match, we get a decent spot from Will Ospreay, doing some of his flippity dive stuff. He goes for a flip on the outside of Takahashi. Takahashi catches him. He goes for a suplex, but Ospreay lands on his feet. He goes back to charge at Takahashi, but Takahashi throws him into the ring, and Ospreay lands. He's still with it. He dives in through the ropes into the ring, goes back, runs the ropes, and then actually does the dive that he wanted to do in the first place on Takahashi. Great sequence there from them. A lot of great spots in this match. Ends off with Takahashi, like I said, with his neck, they were playing up his neck. Ospreay went for that elbow that he delivered to Ibushi last year that took him out. This year he went for it. He actually hit it, and I don't know if he hit the Storm Destroyer after that. But either way, after the elbow and after the Storm Destroyer, Takahashi still kicked out, so that was a good moment. And then Takahashi hits a new finisher. The commentators didn't know what it was called, so I don't know what it's called, but he hit a new finisher. It looked sick. He got the win. He is your new junior heavyweight champion in New Japan, obviously. Decent match, like I said, best match so far through the night. And if you like this fast-paced action, this one is one to go out and watch. Will Ospreay, I will say this, because he didn't have a match on the second night, so I'll get to it right now. What I want to say about Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay is one of those guys that I think would benefit a lot from going through the NXT or WWE system. Whether or not they treat him well or book him right, that's a whole nother topic. But I think if he slowed down a little bit and worked more on his character and, kind of just slow down, I think it would do wonders for him. Like I said, if they would book him awful or whatever, as long as he went into that system and then if he came back out of it, I think it would do wonders for him. Obviously, he's going to do whatever he's going to do. I'm just a random nobody on the internet talking about or critiquing. I think that's how you say it. Fuck. I don't think I've ever said that word before. I don't think I've ever said that word before. But yeah, I'm just a random guy talking about him on the internet, so why would he listen to me? But just for argument's sake, I think it's done wonders for guys like Ricochet and Johnny Gargano. Just kind of slowing down. If they come out of the WWE, anywhere they go, I think whatever they learn there, obviously nothing that they learn from the McMahons is except for like the showmanship side of things. But anything else, like just learning about the business from guys that are in the WWE system, would do wonders for them. Anywhere else that they went. Look at guys like Chris Jericho and and Kurt Angle and Christian, how they were, and RVD and Jeff Hardy, how they've been able to flourish outside of WWE and became top stars for other promotions. Even if they have that WWE stamp to them, you know, like, yeah, we came from WWE, that's why we're getting pushed. But no, they were able to, you know, kind of mold their own style and character outside of WWE and actually became a top star because of it, not because of what they did in WWE. If you kind of understand what I'm saying. So yeah, I think Ospreay, if he went through WWE system, I think it wouldn't hurt him, especially if he went there for like 3 or 5 years. That's all he really needs. I don't know how old he is. I don't know if he would want to do it, but guys are wrestling until they're 50, and that's even a bigger plus for him. If he went through WWE, it would allow him to slow down and work. Less is more, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Doing less would allow him to kind of get more from the crowd. So that's all I had to say about that match. Moving on, we have Tetsuya Naito taking on Jay White for the IWGP Intercontinental Champion. The winner of this match would go on to main event the next night and put up his belt and the heavyweight belt and combine them, not merge them, but just be co-champion. So these two are probably some of my favorite characters in New Japan. Just the character work that they do is just off the chart. You believe you believe that what they're doing in the ring is actually, like, not real, but I don't know what it is. Just their persona just speaks to me. I don't know what it is. And this is actually going back to my Ospreay comments. These guys did not do a ton of like crazy moves in their match, but it built up nicely. It told a good story. They were working on Naito's knee. They had a couple of good spots in there, setting up the end of the match. I think he hit a couple of Destinos, which is his finisher, kicked out of it. So you thought, oh shit, Jay White might actually win this because he hit a couple of moves on Naito. And then with his injured knee, you thought Jay White was going to win. But no, sir. I think it took 3 Destinos for Naito to actually put down Jay White. He finally got the job done, became the new Intercontinental Champion. Is going to go on to night 2 to take on the winner of the Heavyweight Championship match later on in the night. But yeah, Naito and Jay White. Jay White is one of those guys that you hear about this a lot. People have go away heat if, you know, they actually suck as a heel. But no, Jay White gets the good type of heel heat. The one where if we boo him, we're booing him because he's actually good at what he's doing. And you're not trying to cheer him because he's actually a cocky little prick. I don't know who he reminds me of if I wanted to compare it to like a guy in WWE or NXT. But yeah, Jay White has that good heel heat. Him alongside with his manager Gato does some great work in terms of playing that heel that you want to hate, basically. I don't know if Naito is a traditional babyface because he was doing some heel tendencies in the match as well, spitting in Jay White's face a couple times. It looked like when he was spitting, he was kind of spraying. He wasn't just spitting. Like, remember when Randy Orton spit in Mick Foley's face, left that nasty ass blob in his face? That was disgusting. But it would look like, because Naito was spitting in Jay White's face so many times, he was just kind of spraying in that direction. So hopefully, you know, not that many germs got into the vicinity of Jay White, because that would be disgusting. Spitting is like one of the things that I would probably never do, not even to my enemy. I'd probably give him a low blow, probably never spit in their face. I don't know what it is. I think that's just one of the nastiest things that you can do to somebody else, spit in somebody's face. But anyway, still, besides all that, Naito and Jay White build up to a decent match as well. If you like slower built matches with nice storytelling in it, this is one of the matches that you can go back and watch, and you'll probably find some enjoyment out of it. And now, if you want to mix both matches from the Ospreay and the Naito match together, that's what you're gonna get in the main event. Okada taking on Kota Ibushi, the G1 Climax winner. So he guaranteed himself a shot here at WrestleKingdom to take on the heavyweight champion. and that's what's going on here. The G1 Climax, if you don't know, is basically like their Royal Rumble or Money in the Bank. They have a tournament for a whole month, and it goes by points. So if you win that, you guarantee yourself a shot at the main event of WrestleKingdom. It's kind of like winning the Royal Rumble, and then you get the main event at WrestleMania, or winning the Money in the Bank ladder match. For the first half of this match, it was kind of slow and boring. Or not boring, because you obviously are invested in this if you watch New Japan. You know where these guys are leading to. So it was like a bunch of rest holds and just kicks and punches. In New Japan, I will say this. You know how they go back and forth with strikes in WWE when they're like, when the crowd is like, boo, yay, boo, yay. In New Japan, these strikes actually mean something in terms of building up to what's coming next. And once we got out of the beginning stages of this match, it led into the second stage. I think in my eyes, this was the second stage. As soon as this happened, it kind of geared up. Okada was giving Ibushi some forearms to the chest and face area. He was giving him a couple of forearms. Ibushi was no-selling like a mug, and he was like, "Is that all you got?" And then Okada hits him with this sick-looking drop kick, sent him flying back, and Ibushi stood right back up, and he just gave him a death face, a death stare, and he was like flicking his nose. He's like, "Is that all you got? Seriously?" Like, he was no-selling that whole entire sequence. He was no-selling punches, no-selling forearms, no-selling drop kicks. Looked like a fucking badass motherfucker if I've ever seen one. I didn't expect that, because obviously I don't watch that much New Japan, so I thought Ibushi was like, you know, this like calm, collected, just any regular type of wrestler. But no, he's a fucking badass in the ring. He delivered after that sequence where he was no-selling. He gave Okada a couple of right hands, and it looked like they actually connected. Whether or not they did it or not, it's a whole different story, but it looked like they connected. And it on the third one, I believe, that one looked like the realest one, and it knocked down Okada, and the referee was like, "Hey, no close fist." And that actually looked like a close fist, knocked him down, and then he went over to the corner, started to punch him while he was down as well. That looked pretty harsh as well. Just the visual of it, Ibushi just standing over Okada punching him. You thought, all right, this is probably going to lead to a couple of moves, and then Ibushi's going to get the win. No, sir. This goes into the third stage of the match. Now these guys are delivering all these crazy moves. So, yeah, they went back and forth. Ibushi with a couple of knees, couldn't get the job done. Then a couple of Rainmakers from Okada, a couple Tombstones. I think those are some of his finishers, the Rainmakers and the Tombstones for Okada. He had a couple of those. He couldn't put Ibushi out. Ibushi got back up. He hit the V trigger, gave him another knee. I think that's one of his finishers as well, where he grabs the guy by his hands and then just knees him in the face. I think he went for the cover right after that. Did not work. Okada kicked out. Okada then got back up. I think he had 3 Rainmakers in a row, because this was so built up, because Ibushi hulked up, Kamehameha up, or not Kamehameha, that's like when they do that fucking stupid fireball. But he Super Saiyaned up, and Okada knew this, so he was like, I'm gonna give him 3 Rainmakers. He hit those 3 clotheslines, finally gets the job done. Ibushi goes down for the count, and Okada retains the Heavyweight Championship. Decent match all around. If you like fast-paced, if you like the slow storytelling part of wrestling, another match that you should go and check out. The last 3 matches on this card, by far, you have to go check out if you are a wrestling fan. The other stuff on the card, you can be without it. To be honest, even the Moxley Archer match, nothing to really go back and see. The only thing that came out of it was that Moxley became the new US champion. If you want to go check out the tag match, that's probably another decent one that you can go check out. But for sure, the last 3 matches on the first night of WrestleKingdom 14, you should go check out if you're a wrestling fan. And I don't care if you want to say, "Oh, there's already too much wrestling on." If you're a wrestling fan, is good wrestling really too much wrestling? I mean, come on. You're watching fucking Lana and Lashley getting married on Raw. and you're saying there's too much wrestling. Well, you shouldn't be seeing that type of shit, right? Just common sense. Don't watch what you don't like. Watch what people are saying you should go out of your way and watch. Ends off the night with a good match. Naito comes out, the Intercontinental Champion comes back out. They trade off some words, but at the end they pose with the belts, setting up their main event match for night number 2, WrestleKingdom 14. So yeah, Kazuchika Okada. Let me see if I can do it fast. Kazuchika Okada. I couldn't do it. Okada gets the win at the end. Like I said, that ends off WrestleKingdom 14 night 1. I'm gonna be doing a night 2 review on a separate video. I don't know when it's gonna be up. If you're a hardcore fan, if you're stuck with me, hey, thank you. Let me know what I could do better to review this stuff. I'm gonna try to stay with. Last year, I only kept up with the G1 Climax and WrestleKingdom 14, and then just kind of sporadically watch here and there. This year, I'm gonna try to, obviously, the G1 Climax. I'm gonna try to get into the Super Junior stuff and the tag team division, the World Tag League and the Super Junior Cup, I think is what they call it. But yeah, New Japan, by far probably the best wrestling show start to finish of all the promotions that you could probably think of. Obviously WWE is gonna have their stupid segments here and there that's gonna make the show fall off from an A+ show. NXT, out of 5 matches, you're gonna have that 1 or 2 matches that is not gonna really live up to the hype, or you're not really gonna care about it. And AEW, not all of them are gonna be out of the park as well. So New Japan, from start to finish, even those tag team matches, they set up matches for the next night, because those faction matches that I said, those faction tag team matches that I said from earlier, those factions, like one of the guys from those matches, or 2 of the guys, were gonna face off the next night for championships. So those matches even built up and had meaning behind them. WrestleKingdom 14 night 1, a thumbs up for me. We'll see what I say about night number 2 and why I think they should just go back to doing just one night. I'll do another review. That one's gonna be a little bit shorter. Peace out. See you on the next video.